My name is Zac Elz, and I'll be your host tonight for the special edition of Talking with Zac. Merriam-Webster defines a hate crime as a vicious crime that is motivated by hate to the victim as an individual or as a group, one based on color, creed, gender, or sexual orientation. In 2012, there were 6,222 reports of hate crimes involving murder, rape, assault, and intimidation. 46.9% were racially motivated, 19.8% were motivated by religious bias, and 20.8% were motivated by the victim's sexual orientation. Hate crimes are a terrible offense. On October 12, 1998, Matthew Shepard, a young, vibrant man, was at a bar where gay men were known to hang out. Matthew was an avid supporter of gay rights in Wyoming, where he lived and grew up, and he was a homosexual himself. He was kidnapped from the bar, taken to a field, and beaten to near death. He was then left there for 18 hours in the freezing field. Tied to a fence and left for dead, Matthew Shelton had no hope of life. 18 hours later, he was discovered and rushed to a hospital over 90 miles away. Sadly, he died from his injuries 5 days later in that same hospital. For years, Matthew Shepard's parents fought for a law against hate crimes towards LGBTs. Finally, on a Wednesday night, October 28, 2009, Barack Obama signed a bill into law making hate crimes against LGBTs illegal. We will be right back after a short commercial break. Stay tuned, because you want to. Zac Elz.
Hey there, my name is Bo Elz, and I'm here today to talk to you about hate crimes, a problem that plagues American society today. 99% of people believe that hate crimes are wrong, and 99% of people believe that all humans are created equal. However, President Barack Obama's Matthew Shepard's bill that he signed into law in late 2009 goes against common American beliefs. Let's say you're a white man, and you hit another man, and you get sentenced for assault, and you get anywhere from 1 to 10 years. If you're a white man and you hit a black man, based off of hate for his race, you get a larger prison sentence. The fact is that if we all believe that race doesn't matter, then why is it such a prominent feature in determining the sentence of a man in prison? There is no white or non-white in this situation. It is just a man assaulting another man. Thank you for your time, and have a wonderful day.
And now we're back. Breaking news from South Georgia, where a KKK rally has broken out. Let's go now to on-scene live reporter Zac Elz. Thanks, Zac Elz. And yes, that's right, folks. There was a KKK rally in South Georgia today. Let's take a look back at some of the interviews that we got and some of the hate that was preached today in South Georgia.
They don't speak our language. They don't want to speak our language. They're here for one reason: the American dollar, so they could take our money back to Mexico. But we don't want them to take our money back to Mexico. We want them to take their sorry selves back to Mexico and stay out of our country so we can keep our jobs in this country for American people. God bless America. That's right.
Like that. 10 or 12 to the house.
Yeah.
They're just nasty.
Think about where they're coming from. Shoot, half of them live in mud huts. They come over here and get to sleep in a van. Dang, they're in the Taj Mahal doing that.
Just because we're undocumented doesn't mean that we're not human beings. We're not illegals, as they like to say. We're not here to make things worse. We're only here to improve this country.
I think they did a lot of real good, and then they might have did a little some bad too, because a lot of people might not have liked what they said today, but sometimes the truth hurts.
I enjoy white folks doing things that shows we care. They're like a plague all over the United States, and multiplying like rats. It takes about, I think, 3 months to a gestation period for a Mexican. I don't know for sure, but I believe that's what it is.
And when you say you don't like African Americans or you have no need for them, what do you think should happen to African Americans?
I don't know. They could just disappear from my part.
What about the Jews? What do you think about
The
them?
Jews, yes, certainly they ought to disappear too, because they're the ones got us in this
Are
mess
they
we're
the
in.
chosen people?
Wait a minute, I'm doing this. I think, yeah, they want us got all the money screwed up so we can live like paupers all over the place. Yeah, they've got all the money. The Jews ought to be annihilated. Hitler tried to do that, but the United States stopped him, which was crazy. He had it going on.
Thought it was pretty ignorant sounding. Seemed kind of ridiculous. They didn't really seem to have very many valid points.
How does it make you feel when you hear that guy who's just talking saying that black people should just disappear?
I think he needs to be enlightened.
Thank you so much, Zac Elz, for all of the detailed and informative information on the KKK and the rally this afternoon in South Georgia. The KKK is classified as a hate group by the U.S. government, persecutes LGBTs, otherwise known as lesbians, gays, bisexuals, transgenders, Catholics, anyone who is not white, and interracial couples. Basically, if you are not white and Christian, then the KKK will not like you. Maybe even spread violence or hate against you. Even though the KKK does not spread nearly as much violence as it did in the 20th century, it is just as bad to verbally abuse human rights based on something as silly as a race. However, I personally don't believe that the members of the KKK are bad. I just believe that they were born into a family that was used to one type of thing. And when people who were different started to become their next door neighbors from China or New York who were black or Asian or Indian, those people, when they started to move in and be their next door neighbors, the majority white population wanted to stick together and stay as one community almost. And so no, I do not blame the KKK. I just blame the fact that the government and wars throughout the world have put so much detail onto race and how important everyone assumes that race is, when race means absolutely nothing. However, and so then the children who are born into these families are brainwashed by their parents, and then they brainwash their children. And so in this next clip, you're going to see what brainwashing a child to become a KKK member really looks like.
But for the Robb family, clan and community are one and the same, and everyone does their part. These are Rachel Pendergraft's daughters, Shelby and Charity, and their folk band, Heritage Connection, specializing in white power lyrics.
I can see you walking down your life's long dark road, searching for a people you had never known.
We started with violin lessons, and then we did that. She was 7 and I was 10, and then we did a lot of singing in church.
Loved our people and thought that we could use the talent that God gave us to help spread a message to them.
Your race is dying.
The youngest member of the family also has a role to play.
I'm Andrew, and this is The Andrew Show.
At the age of 12, he's a seasoned broadcaster online.
Mr. Mosby, who is black, and Miss Hutweiler, who is white, got engaged. Now that is just wrong and sick. Now don't let anyone tell you that guns are bad, because cops have guns and they are good. Tune in next week. Bye.
So the next time you see someone making racial slurs or even physically abusing someone because they are different, remember to stop and think about how they were treated, if they even know any different. Go stop them and talk to them. Ask them why they do it. And if all else fails, tell someone that they need help. That's all the time we have today for Talking with Zac. Tune in next year in the 10th grade when we do another television broadcast. Thank you. Good night. Zac Elz. Good night. Signing out.